Please, thank you. What a tremendous honor to be here tonight. Thank you very much. I want to shout out to, there's a lot of board members and staff here. Wendy Tardif, you are amazing. You are a fearless leader. Thank you very much. The staff in the back, please, thank you very much. I'm part of an incredible team, and they're inspiring to be around. We all push each other to provide the best care possible. And I'm standing here with all of you because it is a team, and Wendy, the board, and the staff, and all of our volunteers, and also the community that has stepped up and has raised, now for 11 years straight, over $1 million every year. And that makes, yes, please, because it's the community, individuals. Nice to see a lot of the corporations and companies, big and small, that are here tonight, that have also been supporting us over the years. We can't thank you enough for that. All the services that we provide are at no cost to the patient who comes through the door. Yes. My mother's story was she was diagnosed in 1997. She had over 12 reoccurrences over a 17-year period. She lost her life in 2014. But the impact of her cancer on our family was profound over that period of time. And through that, we are here today, in many ways, honoring her and her battle. And I always think of that anytime someone gets off the elevator at the center in Lewiston or comes through the door in South Portland. What can we do to make their life better? That's the first question we ask. And you'll be surprised when you get the answer. Sometimes it's as simple as we need firewood, because that's the sole means of heating our home. Or I'm concerned about what I'm putting in my body. I need some help with the nutrition. And now that we're all here and what you do and the businesses that you do, you can make a big impact. And we need to continue to work together as a team of all of our communities. The beautiful thing about Maine is the quiet philanthropic work that happens here. The goodness of the people of this great state who step up quietly and donate money or donate their time, their resources, their intelligence is phenomenal, and they don't want credit for it. And I remember one thing growing up, Stephen King. I know, right? He said, get out of the state, learn, slay your dragons, and come back with the information and give it back to your state. And I listen to him, and I thank him for that. So I stand here because of him. Over 9,000 people are newly diagnosed every year. Diagnosed. And then you have to take into consideration, do they have children, their caregivers, their partners, their husbands, their wives? We treat all of them. We are now reaching about 3,000 people a year. Our goal is to reach everyone in the state of Maine, and we can do it. It will take money, it will take effort, it will take time. We need to expand into northern Maine. Bangor is certainly, we have our eyes on that next. South Portland, we have now, in the last, I think, 40% up on the number of people that we're reaching. It shows you the profound impact and need of the services that we're providing. Reiki, acupuncture, nutrition, mindfulness, yoga, getting people connected to their body, children's program, whatever we can do. And if we're not doing something and they ask for it, we'll find a way to help them. Our goal is to reach everybody in this state. It should go hand in hand with conventional medicine. We are leading the way in many ways. We had a wonderful meeting with the Stand Up to Cancer people who came to visit us yesterday, which is remarkable in itself, and a testament to what this state is about. Yes, we have the natural resources. It's called vacation land, ironically enough. In this group, I think most people work hard all the time and don't get a chance to enjoy the natural resources. And as a young person growing up here, and I know there are a lot of students in this room, I encourage you, follow your dreams. You can achieve them, but you're going to have to work hard. You're going to reach points where you don't think it's possible to get to your goal, and that's the moment where you will learn the most, you'll get fired up, and you will eventually reach your goal in time. I went for 10 years auditioning and never got a single role. Rejected for 10 years straight. And I made a decision very early on. I was not going to come back to Maine unless I was successful. And I wanted to give back to the state. At the time, I dreamed of opening a performing arts center. But right around the time that Grey's Anatomy, after 10 years of rejection, took off, and virtually overnight, I became very famous, very quickly. And someone came up to me and they asked me, what do you stand for? What do you believe in? What's your cause? And my mother was well into her cancer journey. And it was that point I said cancer. And I was working with the Amgen Breakaway from Cancer Initiative, which is a group of people getting together to fight cancer. And that's when I called home to Lewiston, Maine. I think, Wendy, you were there, as well as Karen, and then my sister Mary. Is there a need in our community for complementary medicine or supportive care, things like that? Yes, there is. And that's when it began. And I'll tell you one thing, it has been a remarkable journey. But there's so much more work we can do. Lung cancer is the biggest killer in the state. We have to work at getting people to put the cigarette down. And yeah, please, yes. Oh, the governors that are here, Governor, we have work to do there. And I understand it's tough. You get into the habit of it. When I was a young man, I smoked. And when I had my first child, it was my decision to stop because I want to be around for her. I want to grow old and hopefully one day see grandchildren. Not right yet, but eventually I would like to see some and like to be there and be healthy with them. I lost my father very on. He passed away when I was 17. He was a smoker. He didn't take care of himself. He didn't eat properly. Now, with this community, we need to talk to our restaurants about portion control. And we can work with you on this. What are we feeding people? Where's it coming from? We have great resources. We should be seed to plate. And there are great people that are doing that now. You talk to people and you say, hey, I'm from Maine. They go, that's a great food state. Great beer, great land. But it's cold in the winter, right? And are you Canadian or are you an American? They get that confused every now and then. I mean, we're bordered by one state, and then we have Canada and the ocean. But the one thing about that is we can do it, right? I think family businesses need to succeed. We need to encourage them. Rencourt is a company that's in Lewiston. They make shoes, and it's part of the great tradition of that area. And a young man taking over, second generation now. You know, things like that need to thrive. And we had a great meeting this morning with Martin's Point people. And the consciousness and the energy of that leadership was really profound. And what we took away from that, and I think it applies in this case to business, is that personal connection with the person coming through the door. Do they trust you? Do you trust them? That happens with us. They come in a vulnerable state, and they trust us that we're going to give them the services that they need, and that we're going to give them the answers, or at least help them and listen to them. That came up. Are we listening to people? I think this is an incredibly challenging time to be listening to people, especially people that don't share your views. And we lose compassion. We lose empathy. And the one thing about this state is it's alive and it's strong. People care about the neighbor. They give you space. They give you respect that you want and the privacy that you need. But if there's an emergency, they are there in a minute. I'm very fortunate to have grown up here and to have performed at the theater at Monmouth, because one piece of advice was, don't forget where you come from and give back. And that's who we are as a state. And now we're 200 years in, almost. We're a few months away, but we're getting there. Where are we going? And we talk about the environment, right? And I'm in California half of the time, and I try to get back here as much as possible. As a young man, I wanted to get out. There was nothing for me to do. Lewiston, Auburn, there were not a lot of choices. Now, as I get older, I appreciate the land, the people, the space, and the air. And also just who we are as a state and what we represent to so many people. We hear, we have it, we're fortunate. Sometimes it's hard to understand that. But my kids are right now in California, and the whole state is on fire. The next 100 years, 200 years is about our environment. what are we going to do? Had a great conversation with one of our sponsors, Poland Springs Water. I was like, what are we doing? My kids are concerned about the bottles, plastic bottles. We have to get rid of them. We have to get rid of them. But we don't want to put Poland Springs out of business. There's got to be a way. There's got to be innovation now because of the struggles that are in front of us. That's affecting us. Environmentally, we're seeing a result of that with people coming through the door. All of these things are playing together. And that's why it's critical that each and every one of us stay connected and keep working together and fight this together. And we can then make big change. A sense of community, a sense of center. What is the wellness of our community? One of the things I have to talk about, which was my mother going through, she worked at People's Bank, which was then People's Bank, which is now TD Bank. And she needed to go to work. It was important for her to get up and have a reason to get past the pain of the chemo and all of the medication and just the physical pain. And the environment in the workplace and the acceptance of that and embracing someone. How many people are affected by cancer in this room? Almost every one of us. And as employees, as business owners, help those people. And also, we are here for you. One of the reasons for coming here is to let you know that we are here for you and your employees. We hope to expand into northern Maine, so it's easier for people to get to us, to get to the centers. And if we can't do something, then we are building a coalition, an association of working together, so that we can support each other. The Association of Maine Support Cancer Support Centers. This was a pilot program that, Wendy, we just started, and that's the longer title of it. But the objective was, how do we take the ego out of our work? Right? This is always the biggest issue, is when ego gets in the way, unhealthy ego. If you work for your fellow man or woman in an empathetic way, in a compassionate way, then you can transform things. And that's our objective. How do we do that? How do we work together to do that so that no one goes through the cancer journey alone, that they are empowered, that they have dignity, and that our services remain free? You can wipe out an entire family's savings with a cancer diagnosis. It's over. The cost of Medicare, the cost of all of these things. It's an incredible challenge, but we can do it. We can do it together. We were very fortunate. We got a special donation that helped us. Our acupuncture program is very popular, and the Reiki is making a really big difference. And as much as $5,000 takes something that would take 2 weeks and make it down to 1 week. So when that person comes in, gets a tour of the center, we can get them in sooner. That is such a demand for us right now. Finding personnel, finding qualified people. How do we recruit them? How do we bring them to the state? We're all dealing with this. You talked about this earlier. Is how do we make it appealing for people to come here to work, to raise their families, and also to keep people here? These are all of the challenges that are going into the future. I want to thank you so much. I love coming here. Maine is a remarkable state. It's in many ways so independent, a little bit too independent sometimes in the individual. My mother would not want help, but yet she was the first one to give help. And that, in essence, is the character of Maine. So long live Maine, long live us here to celebrate and to support each other in this Chamber of Commerce. And let's help small business. And then the businesses who are successful, who are leading the way, with great success comes great responsibility to give back to your community, to your customers, to your employees, to create an environment where it's inviting to go to work, where there is a mindfulness in the work, where there is exercise and nutrition. All of these things play into being productive. I think that's it. That's what I wanted to say. And I would love to be able to spend more time with you individually so that we can find ways. I met some people from Bethel here. There you are. So Bethel to me was, I'm dyslexic. I wanted to go to Gould Academy. Never happened. But it's a great unit school. But skiing for me was my liberation and my freedom. And so was the bicycle, which is why the challenge is so important. For a kid, if you don't have your driver's license in rural Maine, you are isolated. Less so now with modern technology. But the bike was a great liberator, and so was the winter to go skiing. And Gould and Bethel, those communities are very, very special to me, as all of Maine is. So thank you very much for this tremendous honor, and I hope to see you again. Thank you. Thank you.